The alarm bells rang through the Earth Defense Command Center. Hyunwoo looked up from his morning coffee as red lights flashed across the control room. He had been Earth's top diplomat for 12 years, but he had never seen the alien contact alert before. "Sir, we're getting a transmission," said the communications officer. "It's coming from outside our solar system." Hyunwoo set down his cup and walked to the main screen. "Put it through." The screen flickered and showed a strange creature. It had blue skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were large and yellow. When it spoke, the translation software turned its words into English. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Ambassador Veltar of the Galactic Federation. We need your help." Ji-won, the Earth's military strategist, stepped forward. She was a small woman, but everyone knew she was very smart about war. "Help with what?" The alien's face showed worry. "Our galaxy is at war. The Vorthon Empire wants to control everything. They have already taken 50 star systems. Millions are dead." Hyunwoo frowned. Earth had only learned about other life in space 5 years ago. The first aliens they met seemed friendly. They traded some technology and knowledge, but they never talked about wars. "Why are you telling us this now?" Hyunwoo asked. "Because we are losing," Veltar said. "We have studied your species. Humans are natural fighters. Your history shows you never give up. We need warriors like you." In the back of the room, Taemin crossed his arms. He was the head of Earth's Defense Command. He was a big man with gray hair and serious eyes. "What exactly are you asking for?" "Join our war. Send your ships and soldiers. Help us stop the Vorthons before they reach Earth." The room went quiet. So Young, Earth's expert on alien life, stepped closer to the screen. She was young but very smart about different species. "What do the Vorthons want with Earth?" "They want everything," Veltar said. "Every world, every species. They believe only they should rule the galaxy. If we fall, you will be next." Hyunwoo looked at his team. Ji-won was already thinking about military plans. Her fingers moved as she calculated numbers in her head. Taemin looked angry but careful. So Young watched the alien with curious eyes. "We need time to think about this," Hyunwoo said. "Time is something we do not have much of," Veltar replied. "But we understand. This is a big decision. We will wait for your answer." The screen went dark. The room stayed quiet for a long moment. "Well?" Taemin asked. "What do we do?" "We call a meeting with the World Council," Hyunwoo said. "This affects everyone on Earth." 3 days later, leaders from every nation sat in the United Nations building. The alien message played on screens around the world. People watched from their homes, scared and confused. President Minho of Korea spoke first. "This is not our war. We have never met these Vorthons. Why should our people die for aliens we barely know?" The American president agreed. "Earth just learned we are not alone. Now they want us to fight their battles?" But the African Union representative disagreed. "If these Vorthons are as bad as they say, they will come for us eventually. Maybe we should help stop them now." The debate went on for hours. Hyunwoo listened to every word. He had spent years learning about different cultures on Earth. Now he had to think about alien cultures too. Ji-won presented her military analysis. "The Federation has better technology than us in some ways, but their tactics are simple. They fight like it's a game with rules. The Vorthons fight to win no matter what." "What about our chances if we join?" asked the European representative. "Hard to say," Ji-won replied. "We don't know enough about space warfare. Our weapons are designed for Earth battles." So Young shared what she learned about the aliens. "The Federation species are mostly peaceful. They have been living in peace for hundreds of years. They are not used to real war." "And the Vorthons?" Minho asked. "From what Veltar told us, they are conquerors. They have been fighting and winning for decades." Taemin stood up. His voice was firm. "I say we stay out of it. Earth has enough problems. We don't need alien wars too." Many leaders nodded. Earth was still dealing with climate change, poverty, and conflicts between nations. Adding an alien war seemed too much. Hyunwoo finally spoke. "I agree with Taemin. This is not our fight. We should focus on Earth's problems first." The vote was close, but the decision was clear. Earth would not join the war. 2 weeks later, Veltar returned. This time he brought other Federation leaders with him. They looked more desperate than before. "The Vorthons took 3 more systems," Veltar said. "Billions more are under their control. Please reconsider." Hyunwoo felt sorry for them, but his answer stayed the same. "We are sorry for your losses, but Earth cannot join your war." A different alien stepped forward. This one was tall and thin with silver skin. You do not understand. If we fall, the Vorthons will have our technology. They will be stronger when they come for you. Maybe they won't come for us, So Young said. Earth is far from the fighting. We are small and new to space. Why would they bother with us? The silver alien made a sound like laughing, but it was not happy. You think like prey. Predators like the Vorthons think differently. They will come because you exist. Jiwan studied the tactical displays the aliens showed them. The war was spreading fast. Every month, more Federation worlds fell to the Vorthons. What if we just helped with supplies? She asked. We could send food, materials, but no soldiers. Beltar shook his head. We need fighters, not just supplies. Your species has something special. You fight harder when things get worse. We need that spirit, but Hyunwoo would not change his mind. Earth's answer is still no. We wish you luck, but we cannot help. The aliens left, but Hyunwoo could see they were angry. So Young noticed it too. They're not happy with us, she said after the aliens were gone. They'll get over it, Taemin replied. It's not our problem, but it was becoming their problem. Over the next few weeks, strange things started happening. Earth ships traveling to nearby star systems reported being stopped by Federation patrols. They said it was for security checks, but the checks took hours. Trade with the few alien species Earth knew became harder. Permits took longer to get. Prices for alien technology went up. Dr. Kyung-soo, Earth's top scientist, complained to Hyunwoo. They're making it hard for us to buy their medical equipment. People on Earth need those machines. It's pressure, Jiwon said. They want to make us uncomfortable, so we'll change our minds. Hyunwoo called another meeting with the World Council. The Federation is not happy with our decision. They're making things difficult for us. Let them, said President Minho. We survived for thousands of years without alien help. We can do it again, but not everyone agreed. The space mining companies were losing money. The medical research programs were falling behind. Some people started to wonder if Earth made the right choice. Meanwhile, far from Earth, the war continued. The Vorthons kept winning. Every day brought news of more Federation defeats. In his office late at night, Hyunwoo looked at the reports from the war zone. The pictures were terrible. Whole planets were being destroyed. Millions of aliens were dying. So Young knocked on his door. Can't sleep either? He let her in. She sat down across from his desk. Do you think we made the right choice? She asked. Hyunwoo was quiet for a long time. I think we made the only choice we could. Earth has to think about Earth first. But what if they're right? What if the Vorthons come for us next? Then we'll deal with it when it happens. We always have. So Young nodded, but she didn't look convinced. The Federation ships are getting closer to our space. They say it's for protection, but it feels more like watching. I know, Hyunwoo said. But we stick to our decision, no matter what. Outside his window, he could see the stars. Somewhere out there, a war was raging. Somewhere out there, the Federation was fighting for its life. And somewhere out there, the Vorthons were winning. But Earth would stay out of it. That was the plan. Hyunwoo had no way of knowing that plans sometimes change. He had no way of knowing that staying out of a war is sometimes impossible. And he had no way of knowing that sometimes the war comes to you whether you want it or not. 3 months passed since Earth said no to the war. Captain Dalsu stood on the bridge of his ship, the New Soul. He was a veteran space captain who had been flying between stars for 15 years. His ship carried supplies and people to Earth's colonies. Captain, said his first officer, Yoonji. She was young but very smart about space tactics. We're getting some strange readings on our sensors. Dalsu looked at the display. 2 ships were moving toward them. One had the markings of the Federation. The other looked different, darker, more aggressive. That's a Vorthon ship, said Woo Jin, the chief engineer. He was good at fixing things and making them work better. I've seen the pictures from the war reports. The Federation ship reached them first. A message came through. Earth vessel, this is Federation cruiser Dawn Light. You are entering a restricted area. Prepare to be boarded for inspection. Dalsu frowned. This is free space. We have every right to be here. Not anymore, came the reply. For your safety, all Earth ships must be checked before entering this sector, Yoonji whispered to Dalsu. They never did this before. This is new. The Federation team that came aboard was not friendly. They searched through every cargo container. They checked every passenger's papers twice. They acted like the New Soul was carrying weapons instead of medicine and food. What are you really looking for? Dalsu asked the Federation officer in charge. Anything that might help the enemy. The officer replied. But his eyes said something different. They said he was looking for reasons to cause trouble. After 2 hours, they let the new soul continue, but the Vorthon ship followed them for a while before disappearing into space. Something's changing out here, Yunji said when they were alone again. The Federation is acting more like police than allies. Dalsu nodded. He had been flying these routes for years. He knew when something was wrong. Back on Earth, the pressure was getting worse. Miran, Earth's trade minister, sat in her office reading reports that made her angry. Every day brought new problems. They're blocking our shipments again, she told Hyunwoo over the video call. The Federation says there are security concerns with our grain exports. That's the 3rd time this month, Hyunwoo replied. He looked tired. The stress was showing on his face. It's not just grain, Miran continued. They're stopping our medical supplies too, and our mining equipment. They always find some excuse. The problems were affecting people on Earth. Hospitals needed alien medical machines that weren't coming. Space mining companies couldn't get the parts they needed. The new colonies were running short on supplies. President Minho called an emergency meeting. All the world leaders joined by video link. The Federation is punishing us, he said. They want to make us suffer for not joining their war. The European representative looked concerned. Our space program is falling behind. We need their technology to keep up. Maybe we should reconsider, said the African Union leader. The pressure is hurting our people. But Taimin was firm. This proves we were right to stay out. If they treat their friends like this, what would they do to their soldiers? The debate went on for hours. Some leaders wanted to give in. Others wanted to stay strong. In the end, they decided to keep saying no to the war. But the Federation was not giving up. A week later, a large Federation fleet appeared near Earth's outer colonies. Admiral Kwanho, the fleet commander, sent a message to Earth. We are here to protect Earth's colonies from Vorthon attack, he said. But everyone knew it was really a threat. Kwanho was different from the other Federation officers. He looked more human-like, but there was something cold about him. His eyes never showed emotion. His voice never changed tone. We don't need protection, Taemin told him during their video call. Everyone needs protection from the Vorthons, Kwanho replied. Even species that think they can stay neutral. The Federation ships stayed near the colonies. They didn't attack, but they watched everything. Every Earth ship that came or went had to answer questions. Every message had to be approved. So Young studied reports about Kwanho. He's not like the other Federation officers. The other aliens seem scared of him. Why? Hyunwoo asked. I think he might not be fully Federation. Some reports say he might be part Vorthon, a hybrid. That information worried everyone. If the Federation was using part Vorthons as officers, what did that say about their desperation? Meanwhile, the real Vorthons were still winning the war. Every week brought news of more Federation defeats. Whole star systems were falling. Refugee ships filled with alien families were fleeing toward safer space. Some of these refugee ships tried to come to Earth space. The Federation turned most of them away, but a few got through. Dr. Kyung-soo met with some of the refugees. They told terrible stories about Vorthon attacks, cities destroyed from orbit, planets stripped of resources, people enslaved or worse. They don't just conquer, one refugee told him. They erase. They want to remove every trace of other species. The refugees begged Earth to help. They said the Federation was losing badly. They said the Vorthons would come for Earth eventually. But Earth's leaders stayed firm. The answer was still no. This made the Federation angrier. Trade restrictions got worse. Federation ships started accidentally blocking Earth shipping lanes. They claimed it was for military exercises, but the exercises never seemed to end. Captain Dalsu faced these problems every day. His trips that used to take 3 days now took a week. Federation patrols stopped him constantly. They searched his ship so many times that his crew started joking about it. But Dalsu wasn't laughing. They're trying to make us give up, he told Yoonji. They want us to get so frustrated that we'll do anything to make it stop. Is it working? She asked. Dalsu thought about it. On some people, maybe, but not on me. The breaking point came when Admiral Kwanho delivered his ultimatum. He appeared on screens all over Earth. His cold eyes stared into cameras as he spoke. People of Earth, he said, the galaxy is at war. In war, there are only two sides. Those who fight for freedom and those who help tyranny win. By refusing to help, you are helping the enemy. He paused, letting his words sink in. This is your final chance. Join the war or be treated as enemy supporters. You have 1 week to decide. The message ended, but the threat was clear. President Minho was furious. How dare they threaten us? We are a free world. No one tells Earth what to do. But some leaders were getting scared. The economic pressure was hurting their countries. The military pressure was making their space programs impossible. Maybe we should send some help, suggested the Australian representative. Not soldiers, but supplies or something. That's how it starts, Taemin warned. First supplies, then advisors, then troops. Before we know it, we're fully in the war. Hyunwoo made the decision. Earth's answer is the same. We will not be threatened into a war that is not ours. But even as he said it, he wondered how long they could hold out. The Federation was getting more aggressive every day. And somewhere in the galaxy, the Vorthons were still winning. What nobody on Earth knew was that the Vorthons had been studying humanity for months. They had intercepted Earth's communications. They had watched Earth's movies and read Earth's history books. The Vorthon commanders were fascinated by what they learned. Humans were strange. They seemed peaceful most of the time, but when they fought in ways that shocked even the Vorthons. They have something called total war, one Vorthon general told his commander. When they really get angry, they don't just fight armies. They fight entire civilizations. The Vorthon commander studied reports of human conflicts, world wars, civil wars, revolutionary wars. Every time humans got serious about fighting, they surprised everyone with their intensity. Maybe the Federation is making a mistake, he said. Forcing peaceful humans into a war might not end the way they expect. But the Federation didn't know about Vorthon intelligence gathering. Admiral Kwan Ho thought he understood humans. He thought they were weak and would give in to pressure. He was about to learn how wrong he was. The week of the ultimatum passed. Earth's answer remained no. The Federation fleet moved closer to Earth's colonies. Sir, Yoonji said to Dalsu as they watched Federation ships gather near New Busan colony. This doesn't look good. Dalsu nodded grimly. No, it doesn't. On Earth, Hyunwoo stood in the Defense Command Center watching the same displays. Federation ships surrounded the colony like hunters surrounding prey. What are they planning? So Young asked. I don't know, Hyunwoo replied, but I don't think it's good. Admiral Kwan Ho sent one final message to Earth. You have chosen your side. Now face the consequences. The Federation fleet began moving toward New Busan colony. The colonists there watched the sky fill with alien ships. They sent desperate messages to Earth asking for help, but Earth was too far away. And Earth had no warships that could match the Federation fleet. All they could do was watch and hope that the Federation was bluffing. That they wouldn't really attack a peaceful colony just to make a point. They were about to learn that sometimes, desperate people do desperate things, and sometimes those desperate things change everything. Sung-ho looked up at the sky above New Busan colony and felt his heart sink. 20 Federation warships hung in the air like dark clouds. He had been the colony administrator for 5 years. He had helped build this place from nothing into a home for 50,000 people. Sir, his assistant ran up to him. The Federation ships are sending a message. Sung-ho activated his communicator. Admiral Kwan Ho's cold face appeared on the screen. People of New Busan, Kwan Ho said, your planet Earth has chosen to support our enemies by refusing to help us. This cannot be allowed. You have 2 hours to evacuate your military installations. We don't have military installations, Sung-ho replied. This is a farming colony. We grow food. Kwan Ho's expression didn't change. Everything can be military. Your communication center, your spaceport, your power stations. All military targets. There are families here, Sung-ho said, trying to stay calm. Children, old people. They have nothing to do with any war. They are Earth citizens. Earth chose its side. Now they face the consequences. The transmission ended. Sung-ho immediately called Hai Wan, the Marine Corps commander who led the colony's small defense force. She was a tough woman, who had served in Earth's military for 20 years before coming to New Busan. How many Marines do you have? Sung-ho asked. 200, Haewon replied, plus about 500 colonists who know how to shoot. Why? Because we're about to be attacked by 20 warships. Haewon was quiet for a moment. Then she said, well, that's not fair odds. Can we evacuate everyone in 2 hours? Not even close. We have maybe 10 transport ships. Each one holds 500 people. That's 5,000 people we could save. What about the other 45,000? Sung-ho felt sick. Do what you can. Save as many as possible. But they both knew it wasn't enough. In the colony, panic spread quickly. People ran to their homes to grab important things. Parents held their children tight. Old couples helped each other pack bags with shaking hands. Insu worked at the colony's main hospital. He was a doctor who had come to New Busan with his wife and 2 young daughters. They wanted a quiet life away from Earth's big cities. "Daddy," his 6-year-old daughter asked, "why are the ships in the sky?" Insu didn't know how to answer. How do you tell a child that strangers want to hurt them for something their planet did? "We might have to take a trip," he told her. "Go pack your favorite toys." But deep down, Insu knew they wouldn't make it to the transport ships in time. His family lived too far from the spaceport, and there weren't enough ships anyway. As the 2 hours passed, Federation ships moved closer to the colony. They targeted the communication center first. Bright energy beams shot down from space. The building exploded into flames. "Warning shots," Admiral Kwan Ho announced. "Evacuate all military targets now or face full bombardment." But New Busan didn't have military targets. It had schools and hospitals and homes. It had farms where families grew vegetables under artificial suns. It had playgrounds where children laughed and played. Haewon made a decision that would haunt her forever. She ordered her Marines to fire back. "Ma'am," one of her sergeants said, "we can't win against warships." "I know," Haewon replied. "But we can make them remember that we didn't go quietly." The colony's defense guns were small. They were designed to shoot down asteroids, not fight warships. But Haewon and her Marines used them anyway. The first shots from the colony hit one Federation ship's shields. The ship wasn't damaged, but Admiral Kwan Ho saw the attack as proof that New Busan was a military target. "Return fire," he ordered. Full bombardment. 20 warships opened fire at once. The colony's spaceport disappeared in a ball of fire. The power station exploded. The water treatment plant was destroyed. Then the Federation ships started hitting residential areas. Sung Ho was in the evacuation center when the building shook from nearby explosions. Through the windows, he could see fires spreading across the colony. People were screaming and running in all directions. "Sir," a colonist ran up to him. "The transport ships at the North Landing Pad were hit. They're gone, more ships destroyed. Fewer people who could escape." Insu was trying to move patients from the hospital when the building next to them was hit. The explosion threw him to the ground. When he got up, his ears were ringing and his vision was blurry. "The evacuation bus," his wife said, helping him stand. "We need to get the girls to the evacuation bus." But when they reached the street where the bus was supposed to be, they found only a smoking crater. The bus and everyone on it were gone. "Mommy," Insu's youngest daughter started crying. "I'm scared." Insu picked her up and held her close. Around them, the colony burned. Federation ships kept firing. There was nowhere safe to run. Haewon and her Marines fought back as long as they could. They moved from building to building, using their small weapons against the warships above. It was hopeless, but they kept fighting anyway. "Commander," her radio crackled. "This is pointless. We can't even scratch their hulls." "I know," Haewon replied as another building exploded nearby. "But every minute we keep their attention is another minute for civilians to get away." Except there was nowhere to get away to. The Federation ships had surrounded the colony. They were methodically destroying everything. Sung Ho tried to send a message to Earth, but the communication center was gone. He tried the emergency transmitter, but Federation ships were jamming all signals. As the hours passed, New Busan died. The farms burned. The homes collapsed. The schools and hospitals were reduced to rubble. Insu found shelter in a damaged building with his family and about 30 other people. Through a broken window, he could see Federation ships moving like sharks above the flames. "Why are they doing this?" someone asked. "To send a message," Insu replied quietly. "To show Earth what happens when you don't do what they want." His wife held their daughters close. The girls had stopped crying. They just stared with big, frightened eyes at the world ending outside. As night fell, the bombardment slowed down. Most of the colony was destroyed. Most of the people were dead. The Federation had made their point. Admiral Kwan Ho sent one final message to the survivors. "This is what happens to those who support our enemies. Tell Earth that more colonies will suffer if they do not join the war." But there was almost nobody left to hear the message. Haewon was dying in the ruins of her command post. She had been hit by debris when a Federation ship destroyed the building above her. Her legs were crushed and she was losing blood fast. With her last strength, she activated her emergency transmitter. She didn't know if anyone would hear it, but she had to try. "This is Commander Haywan of New Busan Colony," she whispered into the radio. "The Federation attacked us without warning. They targeted civilians, children, hospitals. They said it was because Earth wouldn't join their war." Her voice was getting weaker. 30,000 people are dead. Maybe more. They killed them to make a point. Tell Earth they made their choice. The radio went silent. Sung-ho survived the attack, but barely. He was found 3 days later by a rescue ship from Earth. Half his body was burned. His left arm was broken in 3 places. But he was alive. Insu was not so lucky. He died protecting his family when their shelter collapsed. His wife and daughters died with him. They were buried together under tons of concrete and metal. By the time Earth rescue ships arrived, they found only ruins. 30,000 colonists were dead. The survivors numbered in the hundreds, not thousands. The rescue workers found bodies everywhere. Families huddled together in basements. Children who had tried to hide in schools. Old people who couldn't run fast enough. Captain Dalsu was on one of the rescue ships. He had known New Busan well. He had delivered supplies there many times. He had friends there. "My God," Yunji said as they flew over the destroyed colony. "They didn't just attack it. They erased it." Dalsu's hands shook as he piloted the ship between the ruins. This wasn't a military strike. This was murder. The rescue work took days. Every body they found had to be identified. Every survivor had to be treated for injuries and trauma. The few people they saved were broken in ways that would never fully heal. Sung-ho was one of the survivors flown back to Earth. As his medical transport approached the home planet, he looked out the window at the blue world below. "They're going to pay for this," he whispered through bandaged lips. "Earth is going to make them pay." The footage from New Busan reached Earth before the survivors did. Videos from security cameras that somehow kept working. Pictures from colonists' personal cameras. Messages recorded by people in their final moments. The images played on every news channel on Earth. A burning colony. Dead children in playgrounds. Families buried in collapsed buildings. All because Earth said no to someone else's war. Hyunwoo watched the footage in his office with tears streaming down his face. He had never seen anything so terrible. The Federation had destroyed an entire colony just to send a message. "Sir," his aide said quietly, "President Min-ho is calling an emergency meeting. All world leaders. Right now." Hyunwoo nodded and stood up. As he walked to the meeting room, he could hear angry voices already shouting. The debate that followed was unlike any in Earth's history. Every leader was furious. Every nation demanded action. The Federation had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. The battle at Kepler Station lasted exactly 17 minutes. Admiral Jun Seo watched through his ship's view screen as Federation vessels tried to respond to the human attack. Their movements were careful and precise, following standard tactical procedures. The human fleet moved like a pack of wolves. "Target their command ship first," Jun Seo ordered. "Cut off their coordination." Human weapons were different from anything the Federation had faced. Instead of precise energy beams meant to disable ships, human missiles exploded with enough force to tear vessels in half. Instead of carefully aimed shots at weapons systems, human guns fired continuous streams of destructive energy. The Federation's flagship, Golden Dawn, managed to get its shields up just as 3 human destroyers focused their fire on it. The shields held for almost 30 seconds. When the ship exploded, the blast was visible from 3 star systems away. "Sir," Jun Seo's tactical officer reported, "enemy fleet is attempting to retreat." "Pursue and destroy," Jun Seo replied without hesitation. This shocked the Federation commanders. In traditional galactic warfare, retreating enemies were allowed to escape. It was considered honorable to let defeated opponents live to fight another day. Humans had different ideas about honor. By the time the battle ended, all 12 Federation ships were destroyed or captured. Kepler Station itself was reduced to floating debris. The human fleet suffered no losses. Admiral Jun Seo broadcast a message to all Federation frequencies. "This is what happens to those who murder our families. Surrender now or share their fate." The message spread across the galaxy faster than the fastest ships. Within hours, every species in known space had heard about the human victory. But Jun Seo's fleet was just the beginning. Colonel Yu Jin led the first boarding operations against captured Federation vessels. Her Special Forces teams moved through alien ship corridors like shadows, capturing key personnel and intelligence. "These ships are built like hotels," she told her soldiers as they explored a captured Federation cruiser. "Big rooms, comfortable quarters, recreation areas. They're not built for war. They're built for people who think war is a temporary inconvenience." Human boarding tactics terrified alien crews. Instead of the polite surrender demands they were used to, human soldiers moved with deadly efficiency. They knew exactly where to go and what to do. They had studied Federation ship designs and found every weakness. Within weeks, human boarding teams were capturing Federation ships faster than the Federation could build new ones. Commander Yunji, now in charge of her own battle group, developed new tactics that confused alien strategists. Instead of fighting predictable ship-to-ship battles, her forces would appear from empty space, strike hard and disappear before the enemy could respond. "How are they doing this?" asked a Vorthan admiral, studying reports of human attacks. "They're using routes through space that we consider too dangerous," his intelligence officer replied. "Paths near unstable stars, through dense asteroid fields around black holes. Places where our navigation systems won't work. And theirs do, apparently. Either their technology is better than we thought, or they're willing to take risks we're not." It was both. Wu Jin's engineering teams had modified human ships to operate in conditions that would destroy alien vessels. They could fly through stellar radiation that would fry Federation electronics. They could navigate asteroid fields that would crush Vorthan hulls. This gave human forces a massive tactical advantage. They could attack from directions that enemies thought were impossible. The psychological warfare campaign led by Bo Young was equally effective. Human intelligence teams broadcast footage from New Busan across Federation space, showing exactly what their heroic fleet had done to human civilians. The videos were devastating to Federation morale. Many Federation species had joined the war thinking they were fighting for freedom and justice. Seeing children's bodies pulled from collapsed buildings made them question what they were really fighting for. Rebellions broke out on 12 Federation worlds within a month. Local populations refused to support a military that murdered families to make political points. Meanwhile, the Vorthons watched human military progress with growing alarm. They had been winning their war against the Federation steadily, but the humans were winning much faster. "At this rate," a Vorthon strategist told his superiors, "the humans will control half of Federation space within 6 months, and then they'll come for us," the Supreme Leader replied. The first contact between human and Vorthon forces came when Admiral Junseo's expanded fleet encountered a Vorthon battle group near the Centauri system. The Vorthon commander, expecting the humans to communicate before fighting, sent a diplomatic message. "Human vessels, this is Admiral Torvek of the Vorthon Empire. We have no quarrel with your species. These star systems belong to the Federation. You may have them." Junseo's reply was simple. "We don't want Federation systems. We want Federation leaders to stand trial for war crimes. Will you help us capture them, or do we go through you?" The Vorthon admiral considered this. His empire had been fighting the Federation for years. Having the humans as allies might end the war faster. "We are willing to discuss terms," he replied. But Admiral Quan Ho, monitoring the conversation from his command ship, made a fatal decision. He ordered his remaining Federation forces to attack both the humans and Vorthons while they were talking. The Federation ships opened fire on both fleets simultaneously. It was the worst tactical decision in galactic history. The humans and Vorthons immediately formed a temporary alliance. Working together, they destroyed the Federation attack force in minutes. Guanho's command ship was captured with him aboard. "Interesting," Admiral Torvik said to Junseo after the battle. "Your species fights with impressive efficiency." "Your species fights with impressive skill," Junseo replied. "Perhaps we should continue working together." The alliance between humans and Vorthons shocked the galaxy. The two most successful military forces had joined sides against the Federation. Within days, Federation resistance began collapsing across multiple star systems. Their remaining fleets were caught between human forces advancing from Earth space and Vorthon forces advancing from the other direction. Admiral Quan Ho was brought to Earth for trial. As he stood in chains before the World Court, he still believed he had been justified in attacking New Busan. It was a military necessity. he told the judges. Earth refused to help. We had to make them understand the consequences of their choice. President Minho listened to this defense with cold fury. When it was time for sentencing, he spoke directly to Quan Ho. You murdered 30,000 civilians, including children, to send a political message. In human law, this is called terrorism. The penalty is death. But death was too simple for someone who had committed such crimes. Instead, Quan Ho was sentenced to life imprisonment on New Busan. He would spend the rest of his life looking at the graves of the people he had killed. The war ended 6 months after it began. The Federation government surrendered unconditionally to the Human Vorthan Alliance. Their military was disbanded. Their leaders were put on trial. But humans weren't finished. We didn't just win the war, President Minho announced to the galaxy. We're going to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Earth took control of galactic politics with the same efficiency they had shown in war. The old Federation was replaced by the Terran Commonwealth, with Earth as the dominant partner. The new government had simple rules: no attacking civilians, no forcing species to join wars they didn't want, no threatening peaceful worlds to make political points. Species that broke these rules would face human military forces. Dr. Kyung-Soo's weapons technology became the foundation of galactic defense. Human weapons were so advanced that no other species could challenge Earth's military superiority. Admiral Torvek, the Vorthan commander, became Earth's closest ally. The Vorthans had been conquerors before, but they learned to respect human military thinking. We thought we were good at war, Torvek told Junseo during the peace negotiations. Then we watched you fight. We realized we were just good at winning battles. You're good at winning wars. There's a difference, Junseo agreed. Battles end when one side gives up. Wars end when one side can't fight anymore. The galaxy adapted to the new reality. Earth became the final authority on interstellar conflicts. When disputes arose between species, they brought them to human mediators rather than fighting wars. This was partly because humans were fair judges, but mostly because everyone was afraid of what would happen if they made humans angry again. Myran became the Commonwealth's trade minister. Under her leadership, galactic commerce flourished like never before. Without constant wars disrupting trade routes, all species prospered. Captain Dalsu returned to flying cargo ships, but now he carried goods between dozens of species instead of just human colonies. His routes were safe because human patrol ships protected all Commonwealth space. Yunji established the Commonwealth Military Academy, where officers from all species learned human military tactics. The Academy's motto was simple: peace through superior firepower. 5 years after the war, Hyunwoo stood in the memorial garden on New Busan. The colony had been rebuilt and was now home to 100,000 people from dozen different species. President Minho stood before the United Earth Assembly. Behind him, screens showed pictures from New Busan: burned buildings, dead families, children's toys scattered among the ruins. The Federation came to us asking for help, Minho said. His voice was calm, but his eyes burned with anger. We said no, so they murdered 30,000 of our people to change our minds. The assembly hall was completely quiet. Representatives from every nation listened with tight faces and clenched fists. They wanted Earth in this war, Minho continued. They shall have Earth in this war, but not as their allies, as their enemy. The cheers that followed could be heard across the entire building. Within hours, Earth transformed. Factories that made cars started making weapons. Shipyards that built cargo vessels began constructing warships. Scientists who studied medicine turned their attention to military technology. Ji-won was promoted to Supreme Military Commander. She stood in the new War Operations Center, surrounded by screens showing Earth's mobilization. How long do we have? President Minho asked her. The Federation will expect us to surrender or beg for mercy, Ji-won replied. They don't know we're preparing to fight back. That gives us maybe 3 months before they figure out what we're really doing. Is that enough time? Ji-won smiled for the first time since New Busan. It was not a kind smile. It will have to be. Taemin took charge of Earth's new fleet construction. He worked 20-hour days coordinating with shipyards around the world. The ships they were building were different from anything the galaxy had seen. Why are they so ugly? Asked Dr. Kyung-Soo, Earth's lead weapons researcher. He was looking at blueprints for the new warships. Because they're not meant to look good, Taemin replied. They're meant to kill things. The new human warships were dark and angular. They had thick armor and massive weapons. Where alien ships tried to look elegant, human ships looked like mechanical predators. Dr. Kyung-soo's weapons lab worked around the clock. They studied captured Federation technology and found ways to improve it. But more importantly, they developed new weapons based on human military thinking. The aliens fight with rules. Dr. Kyung-soo explained to his team. They have weapons that disable ships instead of destroying them. They try to minimize casualties. They treat war like a sport. And us? Asked his assistant. We fight to win. Whatever it takes. The new human weapons were designed to be as destructive as possible. Missiles that could crack planets, energy beams that could cut through multiple ships at once, bombs that turned entire fleets into expanding clouds of debris. But the most important changes were happening in Earth's military academies. A new generation of officers was being trained in what they called total war thinking. Admiral Jun Seo was one of the first graduates. He was young, smart, and completely ruthless when it came to military strategy. What's the difference between human warfare and alien warfare? He asked his class of new officers. Aliens try to capture territory and accept surrender, one student answered. Correct. And humans? Humans eliminate threats completely, Jun Seo nodded. The Federation and the Vorthons fight over who gets to rule the galaxy. We're going to teach them that neither of them deserves to rule anything. Special Forces units were created under the command of Colonel Yu Jin. She was a small woman who had trained with Earth's best military units. Her job was to develop tactics that would shock alien enemies. Traditional space combat is ship against ship, she told her soldiers. We're going to change that. We're going to board their ships. We're going to fight them inside their own vessels. We're going to make them afraid to go to sleep in their own beds. The intelligence service expanded under the leadership of Bo Young. She had spent years studying alien psychology. Now she turned that knowledge into psychological warfare. The Federation thinks they're the good guys, she explained to her agents. They think they're fighting for freedom and justice. We're going to show them what they really are. Bullies who murder civilians when they don't get their way. Earth's industrial capacity shocked even human planners. Factories that had never made weapons before started producing advanced military equipment. Mines that had extracted resources for peaceful purposes began creating materials for warships. The orbital shipyards around Earth multiplied. New space elevators carried materials and workers up from the planet's surface. Within weeks, the space around Earth looked like a giant construction site. Captain Dalsu was recruited to help design the new fleet's logistics systems. His experience flying between colonies made him valuable for planning military supply lines. The Federation controls most of the established trade routes, he told the planners. But there are other ways to move through space. Dangerous ways that civilian ships avoid. Eun-ji, now promoted to commander, worked with him to map secret routes through asteroid fields and near dangerous stars. Ways to move human fleets without being detected by Federation sensors. Wu Jin led teams of engineers who modified existing Earth ships for military use. Cargo vessels became troop transports. Mining ships became mobile weapons platforms. Even civilian passenger liners were converted into hospital ships or command centers. Meanwhile, the rest of the galaxy watched Earth's transformation with growing alarm. The peaceful species that had refused to join their war was becoming something terrifying. Federation intelligence reported massive military construction on Earth. Vorthon spies confirmed that humans were building weapons unlike anything in the galaxy. They're not just joining the war, one Federation general told Ambassador Veltar. They're preparing for a different kind of war. What do you mean? Veltar asked. Our wars have rules, limits, things we don't do because they're too destructive. The humans don't seem to care about any of that. The Vorthons were having similar discussions. Their military leaders studied reports of human weapons development with fascination and growing concern. They call it total war, one Vorthon commander explained to his superiors. When humans fight, they don't just try to win battles. They try to destroy their enemy's ability to fight back forever. Interesting, the Vorthon Supreme Leader replied, and concerning. We may have underestimated this species, but Admiral Quan Ho remained confident. He believed his attack on New Busan had broken human resistance. In his mind, Earth would eventually surrender and join the Federation as intended. He sent regular messages to Earth demanding submission. Each message was ignored. They're still in shock, he told his officers. Soon they'll realize they have no choice but to accept Federation protection. He had no idea that Earth was preparing to do the exact opposite. 3 months after New Busan, Earth's first battle fleet was ready. It consisted of 50 new warships, each one larger and more heavily armed than anything the Federation or Vorthons had ever built. Admiral Jun Seo stood on the bridge of the flagship, a massive vessel called the New Busan's Revenge. Around him, his crew prepared for their first mission. "Target?" asked his tactical officer. "Kepler Station," Jun Seo replied. The Federation's forward command base. The station was defended by 12 Federation warships and had never been successfully attacked. It was considered one of the strongest positions in Federation space. "Sir," his communications officer said, "should we demand their surrender first?" Jun Seo thought about the children who died on New Busan. He thought about Insu's family buried under collapsed buildings. He thought about Haewon's final message. "No," he said. "They had their chance for mercy when they chose not to murder our people." The human fleet jumped into hyperspace, heading for its first battle. Behind them, Earth continued building more ships. Larger ships. Deadlier ships. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when a peaceful species decided to go to war. In the depths of space, Federation sensors detected the approaching human fleet. Alarms rang through Kepler Station as officers tried to understand what they were seeing. 50 ships? The station commander asked. "Earth doesn't have 50 warships." "They do now, sir." The commander looked at tactical displays showing the human vessels. They were dark, angular, and radiating massive energy signatures. They looked like nothing he had ever seen before. "Send a message to Admiral Quan Ho," he ordered. "Tell him the humans are coming, and they don't look friendly." But it was too late for warnings. The human fleet was already decelerating from hyperspace. In minutes, they would be in weapons range. Admiral Jun Seo opened a communication channel to Kepler Station. When his image appeared on their screens, the Federation officers saw something they had never seen before in human eyes. Not fear, not pleading, not the desperate hope for mercy. They saw the cold, calculating look of predators who had decided to hunt. "This is Admiral Jun Seo of the Terran Defense Force," he said. His voice was calm and professional. "You wanted a war with Earth, now you have one." The transmission ended. The human fleet opened fire. The Federation was about to learn the difference between fighting other civilized species and fighting humans who had lost their patience with civilization.